Hello, this is Elaine with Antelope Beads, and in this video we're going to show you how to do a basic woven wrap bracelet. You've probably seen these made with crystals and all kinds of other materials. We're going to show you a slightly chunkier version with some kazuri and wood beads. And what I have here is a finished bracelet. I've got the cord. This is a 2mm leather for the outside of the bracelet, a button, selection of beads, and then the cord I'm going to weave with. Now, typically when we make a bracelet like this, we want our outside weaving cord to really match the leather, as you can see in this bracelet. But just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to use something that really contrasts with the leather, so hopefully you can see the detail of our technique a little bit better. And then I also have the Knotty Do-It-All board. This is a great tool for this project, and then I have 3 of the clips from the board. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is get my clips set up. I'm going to put 2 clips in 2 holes that are right pretty close to each other on the board. And then if I want a 7-inch bracelet or 7.5-inch bracelet, I'm just going to count up the number of inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So I'll put my other clip there. And then I'm going to take my 2 feet of 2mm leather, fold it in half, and I'm going to start by forming the loop that the button is going to fit through. And I'm going to take my wrapping cord, and this is the wax nylon cord. Of course, I'd never use this in real life, but it's great for a demonstration. And I'm going to form an overhand knot with both the waxed cord and the loop. Let's go ahead and get that waxed cord through there. There we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to make sure that my loop is the right size for my button. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and finish off this tail at the end. Then I'll start by clipping my loop into the one hook. And again, this is going to be a 7.5-inch bracelet. And I will clip these other 2 pieces into the other hooks, and this is just going to make it really easy to weave between these 2 pieces of leather now. And again, my work is elevated up the board, so it's just really easy to get from the top and the bottom. So I'm going to start by forming a figure-8 weave between the 2 pieces of leather, and I actually want them to kind of spread out a little bit. So I'll just start by going over, through one side, over, through the other side. And I will want to start with about 4 feet at least of cord. And I'll probably do this 3 times. Spread it out. And then one more time. Okay, now I'm going to just get those centered up there, and I'm going to kind of sort of spread my cords out like this, because I'm sort of now wanting to establish the space where my beads are going to go. So I'll go ahead and start with a kazuri bead. And I'm starting from underneath the cord that's closest to me. I'm going to string the bead onto the cord. And then I'm going to place it between the 2 pieces of leather. So I came over, so I'll then want to bring it under, and then over from the other side, and then back through the bead. And if I need to, I can just take and trim my tail so it just works a little bit better there. There's a couple of tricks for getting this cord through. One is to sort of twist it in the direction of the coil, and then I'm going to go under, okay? Hold that bead in place. I'm going to really take my time and adjust it to make sure that it's nice and straight here. Now you notice I'm from under. Next time I bring a bead in, this side of the leather I'm going to have the cords are sort of running in a diagonal, whereas here they're exactly perpendicular to the cord. So let's add another bead. Another Kazuri bead. So I'm coming over, and then I'll want to go through and under. It does help to get everything else out of the way before you start working. Okay. And then I'm going to come over and back under again. Over through the bead and then back under. There's my second bead. And after each bead, I'm just going to want to stop and make sure everything is nice and even and lays nicely. I'm going to add one more bead, and then I'm actually going to show you how to finish this bracelet, because we would never typically make one with this bright white cord on here. So this time I'm going to do a wood bead, because these sometimes get to be a little challenging to get the cord through twice. So what I can do is take a bead reamer or even a pair of round nose pliers and sort of just widen the hole a little bit. Because it's wood, it's really soft, easy to do. So I'm going to add the bead to the cord. The cord is going to come over the leather, through and under the other side. And I do have to hold the bead in place while I do this. There we go. And then coming back the other way. Again, if I need to, I can trim my cord, and I can also add a little bit of glue if I want it to be stiff. One more time on this. Another trick for getting two cords through the bead is to put the two cords together and slide the bead up instead of trying to push the cord through. So that works really nicely. Okay. And there we go, okay? Get that tightened up. There we go. Okay, so now you notice that this bead is just a little bit shorter than the other two beads, but because the cord is nice and thick, it kind of fills in that gap, and I don't have to worry too much about having my beads be exactly the same length. Of course, if I was making a full bracelet, I would weave it all the way up to the end here, but we just want to really show you how to finish the bracelet now, so I'm going to stop right here. The next step would be to take the bracelet out of the clips, and I'm going to go ahead and move my board. And I'm going to finish it. So the next thing I'll do is I want to do the same set of weaves I did at the beginning. So I'll do that. So I'm going to go, I'm doing a figure 8. I'm following really the same pattern I followed when I added the beads. I'm not going to worry about tightening it until I get my weaves in place. There we go. So we've got 3 sets of weaves on both sides. And then I'm just going to adjust these and pull them in so they sort of form a triangle at the bottom. That looks pretty good, okay? And now I'm going to form an overhand knot at the end, but I'm not going to tighten it yet. I'm using both the leather and the wax nylon cord. Form an overhand knot, and again, I'm not going to tighten it quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and take the button, slide it on one end of the cord, and back through the knot. And now I'm going to tighten the knot. I actually can do that by pulling in opposite directions. adjust the knot. And I'm going to want to make sure that I leave a little bit of space between the knot and the button, because that's going to help the button lock into the buttonhole I made on the other end. Alright, so I'm finished with that. The next thing I'm going to do is trim the waxed cord to about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. And I'm going to trim the leather to right flush with the knot. And I'll go ahead and start by melting the ends of the waxed cord. So I'm going to sort of move everything out of the way here. I have a wire here, and I can just melt the end of the cord and then press it right into the knot. Okay, and then I can go ahead and reinforce that with just a little bit of glue. I've got a couple of little fuzzy guys here, so I'm going to go ahead and melt those. Okay. Other side, same thing. I'm going to melt the cord. And then I'm going to make sure that I put some glue at both points where I trimmed the ends of the leather. And here is our finished little sample mini bracelet. This is the actual bracelet using those same beads, and again we've used a cord that matches the leather so it's not as distracting as the white. Just lots of opportunities for different design ideas here. We've got one here with kazuri beads and some more wood beads. Here's one with nothing but wood blocks, and we've even used a wood bead for the button at the end. Here's another one with kazuri beads and some metal beads, and we also have one with kazuri beads and some metal beads and silver. This is really subtle looking design here. We can use both the round cord and the flat wax nylon cord. The flat cord just does lay beautifully against the leather, there's no doubt about that. But if you want a little bit more texture, by all means use the round cord as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please note that we have written instructions on this technique available at antelopebeads.com as well, along with lots of other videos and design ideas.